Hey guys, Novel Bullshit here, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about some changes that Capcom is going to be doing to some weapons in the Monster Hunter Wilds game when it's finally released, which is quite exciting. Now, in the interview, they actually talked about 4 different weapons they've been changing, mostly the lance and the switch axe. They actually recommended people not to play the lance and switch axe, which is pretty crazy, and the reason is they have many changes coming and they don't want to test them in the current version of them right now. Now, we've seen recently, after playing through the beta, and even on this channel, we've gone through pretty much every weapon now, almost every Blaze Master weapon we've gone through to talk about different issues that people are having or the things they love about it and the state of the weapons overall. Now, we haven't gotten to Lance yet, but we've gone through Insect Glaive, Switch Axe, and Sword Shield with the votes and the polls and the videos. And Switch Axe specifically and Insect Glaive were one of the more controversial ones for people to address on the Lance as well. So it seems like it's quite in line what we saw on this channel with what the wider audience of the Monster Hunter community are saying. So I'm quite happy that they're going to be making some changes. And before we get started, I just have to say, not many companies would do what Capcom's doing right now, listen to the feedback and change things so drastically and doing overhauls in this state like they've described here. Now, how much is an overhaul? We don't know yet. It's hard for us to say how much is going to change. And does this set a good precedent? I think it kind of does in some ways and doesn't in others, because it's good that they're listening to us and things we say matter. It's not just falling into the ethos of messages online, you know, videos, comments. You know, I've tried to tell people, if you don't like something, the best thing you can do is send your feedback, and if it's not changed when the game comes, well, that's unfortunate, but it seems like Capcom are changing things before the game comes, so that's always good to hear. And they've decided to change things on the 4 weapons that I think have had the most scrutiny out of any weapon, so I like that. I really do like that. Now, yes, bad precedent it can kind of set. There may be some design decisions that Capcom have chosen purposely for certain weapons, and they thought about this for a long time. They probably thought about, let's say, the Insect Glaive no bounces for 4 years or 3 years, I don't know how long. The fact that they can so easily change it within a couple of weeks, it makes me wonder, is the game going to be balanced correctly for it? I don't know. I have no idea. And if they can change it so easily, did they really believe their initial design? Possibly not. But they want people to enjoy it more, so this is good. And hopefully these changes that come are worth the effort and they make the weapons feel better for all of us. But yeah, enough of that. Let's just get straight into it. Now, what are these changes? Well, we're just going to go through some of these weapons here and talk about some of the changes. We'll start just easy with the Sword Shield. I don't think the Sword Shield needs much change myself, personally. I think one of the things that I didn't like was the leap attack. I think the leap attack is a bit weird. This doesn't feel as satisfying as the old one. If they're going to change that, I don't know. We don't know the extent of the changes they're going to make. Apparently some of the changes is going to be focused on focus mode, which is going to be pretty cool, because some of the focus mode additions were a bit strange on some weapons, definitely for the lance, which we'll get into a bit later. But that's it for the Sword Shield. Let me know down below if there's anything for the Sword Shield that you would have added down below. Now let's go into Insect Glaive, because Insect Glaive has been a big one where people have been discussing, deliberating, and yeah, people have had issues, mostly around the bouncing. There's 2 issues, but mostly the bouncing. People were saying they want to bounce, they want to stay in the sky. Insect Glaive's wings have been clipped. Freaking Anthony was sending me messages about this weapon, or tied to the sky, and they've added back in the bouncing, so now you can bounce. How many times? I don't know, probably the same as before. Now, is this a good change? Well, the audience wants it. I am slightly worried about it trivializing a lot of the gameplay when it comes to Monster Hunter Wilds, as being in the air is kind of an easy way to just avoid monsters and just to deal with situations you don't want to deal with properly. How effective is it going to be in this game? I don't know. Now, I don't think it should do like no damage. That's not fun. The damage it does, it's not about the damage per se. I think it's about the survivability. I think the damage should be at least reasonable. The AI needs to be able to actually deal with people in the air. I think that's where the problem is, and hopefully Capcom can fix that. It can't do no damage because that's just boring, but it can't just survive forever. It needs to be decent damage but susceptible for damage. They're having drawbacks about bouncing up and being in the air so much. There needs to be something there. If it has to do with stamina and draining stamina on something, there needs to be something. Hopefully they do something there with that. Now, Insect Glaive, also the other thing I was thinking about was actually the extracts. People were talking about getting extracts, spending extracts is not fun. Maybe they're going to change something around there. I don't know, but you have to let me know down below what you guys think about that one. Now, Switch Axe, what are they going to change here? This one, it was highlighted one of the bigger ones that they're going to do changes with, and they didn't recommend using it at all, really, which is actually very interesting. I'm actually going to talk about what it actually means. 2 of the issues that people have had, well, 3, mostly the full release combo being too strong. This is trivializing definitely axe mode and trivializing sword mode as well. What's going to change? I think rather than nerfing the full release, I mean, I don't know how much damage it does in comparison to other weapons, but I think the axe and the sword specifically need buffing. Definitely axe, it needs to be more viable, it needs to be more interesting. Hopefully they add back that mechanic from Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, where when you charge up your sword, it actually charges up your axe as well. I thought that was really cool. That way, when you're charged up, you're not just always in sword. You're actually switching between the 2, and you can use axe to keep up your files to get back into sword. Like, I think that's just a cool loop, and I do hope they go around that and fix those issues, and I think people will be fine with the full release combo. Apart from that, there's nothing too specific. I know people talked about the counter. and the counter is a bit of a weird input to have it on while in the axe mode. If that's the case, you know, that'd be good for them to change that. I don't know what they could do there, but yeah, hopefully they do you good. Hopefully Swiss Axe mains are happy when these changes come about. Now the Lance, the Lance. Now Lance, as you know, if you've been following me for a while, Lance is my main, been maining since try. And I made a video talking about the Lance and saying, you know, you may not like this Lance. I say may because some people obviously are gonna like it. It's not everyone not gonna like it, but I knew going into the weapon, playing the weapon in the places in beta, something was different about this weapon in comparison to other weapons. It was just so evident. And I knew that people who've loved Lance for the longest times might not like the changes, but the changes are quite drastic. Now I've always been a person who wants changes in Lance because I feel like Lance has been the same too much. And I think, yes, it's good for a weapon to keep its identity, but when the weapon's been the same for literally 20 years, I think, you know, more needs to change. So I do accept change. I do like change. I do like the change overall. It's just certain things in the changes I didn't agree with. And we're going to go through that here of what I think they're probably going to change and what they're not going to change. Also note that I haven't done a weapons video on Lance yet with the poll and so on. I haven't even looked at the comments yet. That's going to be coming out next week. So one of the biggest things, pretty much the biggest thing people talk about is the countering. Our standard counter, the standard counter that we have, that move being limited to only being accessible from the high frost combo at the end is a bit crazy. It doesn't feel right. It just feels a bit strange in a way. So I'm thinking maybe they'll move it back to where it used to be, but that also changes the whole aspect of the revenge counter. You know, you taking damage and you do damage back, which is an awkward thing anyway. It's very awkward, to be honest. So I think those two are going to change in some aspect. How they're going to change it, I don't know, but maybe they're just going to add it back where it used to be to keep people happy. Now another thing here I have is the speed of the weapon. The speed of the weapon was slow. I've never seen Lances slow before. Even in old gen was faster than Wild's Lance, which is crazy. It doesn't need to be this slow, honestly. With the pokes can be faster. In my opinion, it just kind of makes it a bit like I'm walking through water, and you know, I don't need that since I'm on land. So let's not have that, please. Can we fix that? Another interesting inconsistency is you can't triple up poke. Now originally I thought you could triple up poke. I thought reading the notes it kind of insinuated that, but you can't. As we said before, it goes into the counter rather than triple up poke. Now I don't understand why that's a thing, really. I think triple up poking just kind of makes sense, and I think Capcom just wanted to add in more moves for reasons, so that's why they did it. Back in Generations Ultimate, as long as you didn't use the style that was striker style, when you did your poke combo, it would always lead into that triple poke for either the high or mid frost. It didn't matter. So it is strange that now they've brought that into this game. It's only limited to the mid, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see what they do on that one. And it's a bit weird that mid frost do more damage than high frost. It was actually more prevalent in the combo, which is a bit strange. High frost has always done more damage in previous games. Apart from the last poke, they were the same percentage of damage. I didn't like that either. I don't agree with that either. I think that's a bit strange. But I also think mid frost doing more damage is a bit strange too. So I'm not really sure what they're going to do. Maybe they'll just leave it as it is, or maybe they'll unify it so they both do the same amount of damage. But I don't know. I guess they have different uses, so maybe one having more damage than the other is a good thing in the end. So yeah, I guess we'll see on that one. Now a couple other things I think they're going to change is actually the charge sweep. Now, a lot of people didn't like the charge sweep in Sunbreak. I do know they thought it was too OP, and it was pretty much the meta of how you use the Lance in that game. You'd use the charge sweep to the hop back to the forward thrust combo. You'd do that over and over again. Now, honestly, I really like the charge sweep, not for the damage. I don't think it needs to be the highest meta damaging combo for the weapon. But I think what would be nice of it is if it's actually still there for other reasons. For example, one thing I really love to do with the weapon in Rise Sunbreak was sleep lancing. And Lance has never had a high hitting move. But we do have the dash attack on the final thrust, which is cool. But this is the more consistent way for us to do high damage when someone's asleep. And I thought that was a really cool addition for the weapon. And like I was saying, it doesn't need to be the highest DPS. Maybe the speed needs to be toned down. But the damage that it can do, it still being there, would be great. I would really like it to be there. So hopefully that's there in this game. Now, hopefully, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, when it comes to the wide sweep right now, I don't like the iteration of it because it's just kind of slow. It just feels a bit sluggish. I don't like to use it. I know it's a part of a highest DPS in this game now, but I just don't like it because of the way it just leaves me vulnerable. It's just slow. It's just a bit clunky. The way you do it as well, it's just kind of strange. So hopefully they do change it to have more of the charge aspect of it that we did in Rise and Sunbreak, because that would be great for me personally. Now we've got perfect parrying. Now I think perfect parrying needs to be improved. A lot of people have talked about how when you perfect parry, it doesn't seem as rewarding. I think the only thing you actually get different is the follow-up dash attack you can do by pressing both attack buttons. You can get into that, but it's not too much different from just normal blocking with the Lance. Now, Lance is the counter weapon. It's the weapon that should be benefiting from perfect parries quite drastically when we're doing the return thrust and the revenge thrust. So I hope we can kind of see more benefits for those when you do the perfect parry into them rather than just do standard into them. Now lastly, focus mode is the last thing I want to talk about. Focus mode is a bit strange because some aspects of it are a bit inconsistent with the weapon. For example, when using mid thrust, you can hop to the side, but you can't do it using high thrust. Now I'm not sure if that because when you're using mid thrust, kind of like more focus on the front of you, and high thrust you focus top of you, it kind of spins to the side rather than you hopping to the side while using the move. I don't know. It's a bit strange, honestly. That might not change, but I do think there is a bit of a problem there somewhere. So hopefully we can see more improvements of focus mode overall, not just for the lance, but for the game in general, which should be quite exciting. I'll be looking forward to seeing that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for these weapons. Now, I actually respect Capcom quite a lot for coming back and listening to feedback and changing the stuff. Now, when it comes to my video series of checking out each weapon and what people think about it, we haven't been through the launch yet. I haven't even looked at the comments yet or anything like that. So it'll be cool to see what people thought of the launch before these changes, and then we can kind of evaluate after these changes and kind of come to conclusion if what Capcom have changed when we see them, if they've drastically changed our opinion of the weapon overall. And yeah, I'm just excited to play this game of Worlds. I want to see these changes they're going to be making, even more changes, which is going to be great for us to play with. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it what I've got for you today. So if you're liking the video, like, subscribe, comment down below, and let me know what you guys think. I want to see how you feel about the weapons and these changes that they've talked about, and what do you speculate is going to be changing overall. Like I say, next week we've got the launch video coming up, and this weekend we're going to have another video on the longsword, which was delayed. It was my birthday, like I said, on Monday, so I've just been chilling, honestly. I haven't been doing much YouTube at all. I'm back on the grind. I haven't done my birthday stream. It'll be coming up. We'll do it on the weekend or sometime that I can find time to do it, and yeah, it'll be good to have you guys around. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.